Hi, welcome to this keynote about our slitting system and slitting head on the UA1650 ADWS converting center, which means it's a combination of a rewinder and a slitter. You will find the same slitting system also on our 1900 ADWS slitting machine. It's exactly the same. It's a manual roll slitting machine with a big passive rotary blade. So the blade is not driven by a motor, but it's only passively running on top of the media, which is actually rotating. It's a manual head, so both the position of the head and the actual cutting are performed manually by the operator. We frequently get asked if we also supply an automated slitting system, and the answer is no, because there's a huge difference in cost to make a manual slitting system versus to make an automated one, because for automated slitting procedures you need to have enormous safety equipment in order to protect the operator from getting hurt by the actual slitting process. So our manual head is also very efficient and can slit a wide variety of film and media. At some point in the future, we might introduce a system of automatically reposition the head to the desired cutting position or slitting position, which will then come from our Convert+2 software to the machine. The head will reposition itself automatically, and then this will help our customers to zero out some human error at this point. So rolls that are cut by accident at the wrong position. But at the moment, so this is really further down the road. We have a plan to do that, but it's not actually won't be introduced within the next months or so. So at the moment, we have this manual system with a very easy to move, free running slitting head on a linear system, which is activated, or the brake for this linear system is activated at the start button here. So once I press start, the head will be blocked in the current position, and when I release the start button again, it's free to move again. So there's no manual operation in blocking or releasing the head. Also, the head is supported by a digital measurement system with two displays. The lower one showing a relative measurement from the point, usually from the right end of a roll towards the left when you move the head inside, and the upper one is showing the absolute distance from the tension chuck here, and needs to be calibrated every time you turn on the machine. Needs to be calibrated once by moving the head into the very left end position, then it recalibrates itself to this total distance here. And I'm going to load a roll of a simple paper-based application tape and load it. I activate the slitting function, so the slitting shaft is operational now. The roll is tight on the tension chuck, and we can start using the slitting system from here. First, I want to show you, before I tell you more details about the measurement system, I want to show you this optional line laser, which marks the slitting position, which without laser you would have to detect by lowering the blade onto the material, and then, for example, in order to detect the edge here, you would need to move in that area and then test if you're right on the edge, and then doing the final positioning manually, which takes some time, only a few seconds, but this adds up over time when you do that a couple of dozen times per day. So the laser really marks the position of the blade. You will see the edge of the material, and then back to the measurement system. Here at the lower display, you can, at the press of a button, zero out these numbers here. So now this is the point 0, and here 205 millimeters from the left side of the roll. And from there, typically you will start moving to the left, for example, 20 millimeters, and there you can perform your cut. The resolution of this digital system is 1/10 of a millimeter and can also be set to 5/10 of a millimeter. For normal application with sign vinyl and application tape, it's usually not necessary to be that precise with the 1/10 of a millimeter. Half millimeters far enough to find the correct position where to cut. Also, of course, the whole system is available in imperial unit. So for North American market, you can switch that measurement system to your imperial system that you're used to. But it basically works exactly the same. As I said before, once you press start here, you will activate the actual slitting process. So the roll starts to turn and the head is locked in its position. And at the moment you release this button again, the whole system stops as a matter of safety. Also here on the slitting lever, when you lower the blade and you're cutting and you release, it goes back into the idle position and the blade cover closes itself. So this is what makes this slitting system safe to operate. Once you start the actual slitting process and you perform your cut, this measurement system down here will be set to 0 automatically. So after that cut, the new film edge here will be your new point to start to move the head to the left for your next cut. So there is no calculation needed here. Now I was at 0 and then I did cut off 2 and now another 2, so I have to go to -4 or something like that. It's just every time before you start to cut, you have 0 here and then you can start move to the left to your desired roll width. So just in our case, I did not cut yet, so that's why I need to go back to this to 0 here. And the slitting lever, you find another optional item, which is this telescopic slitting lever that we suggest to be used instead of the standard one, which I show you now. This is the standard lever that is shipped with every machine for free. The advantage of the extendable lever is that you have much more control over the slitting process like this. It's not about the total amount of force you can apply to cut, but it's about the control of the movement of the head to avoid vibrations and the head moving up or down. So you can, with a strong hand and this extendable lever, you're very good at doing a straight and precise cut with nice cutting edges. The machine that we are showing here in the video rests a little higher than it usually would if being set up correctly on site. So it's about 10 centimeters or 4 inch higher than normal. So even small people can have access to the slitting lever by just pulling it down from here, for example, and then touching it at this this ball grip. And also when releasing the lever, no, it's even possible for shorter people to operate this properly. Then you will have that turning knob here to control the turning speed of the material in 100 steps from full speed to very low speed, and we suggest to perform most of the typical slitting application at speeds between 50 and 70. But that depends on the material and also on the kind of blade you have in the slitting head. I think now we're basically ready to go to perform one cut. You see now that the laser is back on the new edge of the material, of course, after the cut was performed, and our display shows 0 now and is ready to move to the next cutting position. What really helps in cutting this application tape and other vinyl films and other kinds of material is our also optional pad lubrication system that you can see here on the right and on the left side of the blade cover. There are these black caps, and within these caps you will find felt pads that are that can be flushed with a lubricant through these tubes here. A lot of our customers are using silicone oil as a lubricant, but also other water-based lubricants are very popular, or even water itself is used in cases where it's where you cannot use an oil-based lubricant for a certain kind of material so where you don't want to affect the adhesive at the cutting edges in a negative way. The felt pads rest on in a kind of socket that is that you can move away from the actual blade surface by turning that hand nut here, or you can make the pad rest or even press towards the blade surface by setting it free here. And also on the other side there's the same system. That means that you can cut dry without the lubrication system, even if it's in place, just by removing the felt pads from the blade surface. And of course you can make the pads press against the blade with a fairly high force actually, which has a certain braking effect on the blade when turning. And a nice side effect is also that the felt pads are constantly wiping glue and dust off the blade. So even if you cut difficult material like application tape a lot, or even reflective vinyl films, you won't see the glue building up on the blade as you would with slitting systems that don't feature this pad lubrication system. The lubricant is supplied on the whole cutting area, and it's constantly supplied. So it's not only like when you, prior to cutting, you spray with a spray can of silicone oil, you spray oil onto the blade and then perform your cut. You will lose the lubrication effect fairly quickly because it just wipes off throughout the first layers of the material when the blade enters the cutting channel. But here, as it's constantly applied with every turn of the blade, you will see that lubrication effect from the beginning to the very end of every cut. And you activate the supply of this lubrication fluid by pressing this pump button here. Usually one short press of this button, like I just did now, is sufficient for at least one cut, like in a roll of application tape, like here. And then when you get the feeling while operating the slitting system that the blade gets too dry, you just press the button again. And even if you're using your thumb to press on the start button, you can do this with a second finger without affecting the safety concept of this start button here. So another thing that's special about the NEPATA slitting system that I want to explain, which doesn't really lie within the head itself, but with the slitting shaft, is that we only turn and drive the roll from this chuck on the left end, from the black chuck. So this is the only part of the machine that actually turns when the slitting is activated. And by this, these white slitting sleeves here, they only run free, so they might turn along with the roll, but there is no motor behind it or something similar. So the positive thing about this is if the blade cuts through the material and comes to the surface of the slitting sleeves, the whole movement of blade and sleeve will simply stop. And only the roll will keep turning as it's driven from the tension chuck on the left side. I will show you this with another cut. There you can see that once the cut is finished, not only the right end of the roll stops to turn, also the slitting sleeves and the blade stop turning. Only the roll keeps turning on the left side. So this leads to a longer lifetime of the blade, less resharpening, less replacing of the blade, because those sleeves actually would hurt the grinding and the sharpening of the blade a lot. And also the sleeves, the plastic sleeves itself, they last much longer and they wear out much less than compared with other slitting machines that use the same basic setup of a 3-inch shaft and a rotating blade. Some more information about the blade itself. So here in this setup we are using a 240 millimeter blade, 2 millimeters thick, with a single bevel, which is very good for cutting standard sine vinyl and similar material. It's not very good actually for cutting application tape, just when you're cutting those narrow stripes of tape. It's good when you want to cut a large roll of application tape into half or quarters. Then you would need this kind of blade as a double bevel version, which works much better then. And in total we have 5 different blades, also with larger diameters in order to slit rolls with larger diameters too. And so every blade has its special application and a range, a more or less wide range of application where it's suitable for. And depending on customer request, we need to recommend one or maybe two different kinds of blades in order to cover all of your applications that you have in-house. And the blade can be can be exchanged very easily. There are 4 screws on the left side here that you just need to open. Then you can exchange the blade, and so with some experience this will last less than a minute to have a new blade for a new application up and running, and then perform cuts for a different kind of material. Another very small option of the slitting head is this tape dispenser that's available. The nice thing about it is, compared to the stationary one here on the left side, is that the one at the slitting head always will move along with the slitting head. So when you are cutting a wide roll of material, you will always have your tape very close by and don't have to go one step back here to get some tape and then close the roll here. So this is a nice little add-on that you can use to further increase your productivity when slitting material. So that's all I can tell you about our slitting system at our converting center and slitting machine. Thank you for attending this keynote. Just right afterwards, you will have the opportunity to ask us some questions that we will answer live here in a Q&A session for the upcoming 15 minutes. Just use any channel you find, like comments on YouTube, or using the questions form on our live page, or send us an email with your questions that you want to have answered right away, and then we just will take care of it. Thank you for your interest in our products, and take care and goodbye.